Today we're going to learn about complex conjugates. So before we learn about what a complex conjugate is, let's first recap on what a complex number is. So a complex number is a number that can be written in the form of a plus bi. So this is a complex number. Where here, A and B are both real numbers, and I is an imaginary number. Also, A is called the real term, and Bi is called the imaginary term. So, now let's learn about what a complex conjugate is. So, the only difference between a complex number and a complex conjugate is the sign of the imaginary term is opposite. So an example of a complex conjugate, or the form of a complex conjugate, is A minus Bi, which is a complex conjugate. Now, let's see what happens when you multiply, add, and subtract complex conjugates and complex numbers. So, let's first learn what happens when you add a complex number with a complex conjugate. So, we have A plus Bi plus A minus Bi. So here we have to combine like terms. So we have to combine A with A and Bi with Bi. So we have A plus A is equal to 2A. And then we have plus Bi plus negative Bi. So that means that positive Bi and negative Bi cancel out. So to get, for addition, it's 2A. So this is addition. Now, let's see what happens when you subtract. So when you subtract, you have A plus Bi minus A minus Bi. So here we have A minus A, which is 0. So A and A cancel out. And then we have Bi minus negative Bi. So we have technically B, because negative and negative becomes positive. So we have Bi plus Bi, which is 2Bi. So now let's see what happens when you multiply the complex number with the complex conjugate. So we have A times A plus Bi, which is a complex number, times A minus Bi, which is a complex conjugate. So this is equal to, so to solve this, we have to use the FOIL method. So we multiply the first terms, the outside terms, the inside terms, and the last terms. So this is equal to a times a is equal to a squared, and then we have a times negative bi, which is equal to negative abi. And then we have bi times a, which is equal to positive abi. And then we have bi times negative bi, which is negative b squared I squared. So this is equal to a squared, and then we have negative abi, positive abi, which cancels out. And so after that we have minus b squared I squared. And since we know that I is equal to negative 1, so that means that I squared is equal to, the I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So we know that I squared is equal to negative 1. So this is equal to a squared minus b squared times I squared, which is negative 1. And so this is equal to a squared, and we have negative b squared times negative 1, which is, because negative times negative is positive, so we get positive b squared. So when we multiply a complex number with a complex conjugate, we get a squared plus b squared. So we learned that a complex conjugate, the only difference in a complex conjugate than there is from the complex number is that the sign of the imaginary term is opposite, but the sign of the real term remains the same. Today we learned about complex conjugates. Thank you for watching this video.